Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya'i wal Mursaleen. Allahumma alimna ma yanfa'una wanfa'na ma tu'allimuna wa zidna bi fadlika 'ilman ta'liman innaka 'ala kulli shay'in qadir. So again, some of these hadiths, they seem to be in all over the place a little bit. You just have to kind of overlook that. So he says, أخبرنا حيوة بن شريح قال حدثني الوليد بن أبي الوليد أبو عثمان المدني أن عقبة بن مسلم حدثه عن شفي بن ماتع الأصبحي قال قدمت المدينة فدخلت المسجد فإذا الناس قد اجتمعوا على رجل فقلت من هذا؟ قالوا أبو هريرة فلما تفرق الناس دنوت منه فقلت يا أبا هريرة. So this is one of the tabi'een. He came to Medina and he found a group of people gathered around somebody and they said, who's this person that they gathered around? So this is Abu Huraira. Obviously Abu Huraira had thousands and thousands of hadiths to share with everybody. فقلت يا أبا هريرة حدثني حديثا سمعته من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ليس بينك وبينه فيه أحد من الناس. So he said, Abu Huraira, tell me a hadith that you personally heard from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. فقال أفعل لأحدثنك حديثا حدثنيه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ليس بيني وبينه أحد من الناس ثم نشر نشرة. So he said, please tell me something that you heard personally from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, I will most definitely do that. I will tell you something that the Prophet ﷺ told me, and there was nobody else who was an intermediary. And then he cried, or he let out a shriek or something like that. He made a sound and basically passed out. And then he came to فأفاق فهو يقول أفعل لأحدثنك حديثا حدثنيه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ليس بينه وبيني أحد من الناس. So then he said, he came to again and he said, I will tell you a hadith that the Prophet ﷺ told me, and between the Prophet ﷺ and myself, there was nobody. So Abu Huraira is caught caught in a very particular difficult situation. A, the content of the hadiths are very, very heavy. B, the sin of hiding knowledge is also very, very heavy. So it's very difficult. Imagine, for example, you need to share something, you need time to collect yourself about that issue. It's very, very difficult to talk about it. But at the same time, you are obliged to talk about it. It's very important, right? So it's very, very hard. So he's actually passing out. So he passed out and then he passed out again. وهو يقول لأحدثنك حديثا حدثنيه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ليس بيني وبينه فيه أحد من الناس ثم نشر الثالثة أو الرابعة. Then he passed out and made this sound a third or a fourth time. And then he came to again. And he said the same thing again. And he said, I heard the Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم say, إذا كان يوم القيامة ينزل الله إلى عباده ليقضي بينهم. He says, on Judgment Day, Allah will descend to judge between people. So when you say Allah will descend, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not in a place, and He's not in a time. So Allah is not on Judgment Day, nor is He not on Judgment Day, nor is He in a place or nor is a time. He's not a physical thing like that. Right? But the point is that it's a metaphor of the gravity of the situation. فَكُلُّ أُمَّةٍ جَاثِيَةٍ. Every single nation will be on their knees. فأول من يدعى رجل جمع القرآن فيقول الله تعالى له عبدي ألم أعلمك ما أنزلت على رسولي. And so this person who had memorized the Quran, he will say, my slave, have I not taught you that which I revealed to my messenger? فيقول بلى يا ربي. He will say, of course you did, O my Lord. فيقول ماذا عملت فيما علمتك. How did you act upon that which I taught you? فيقول يا ربي كنت أقوم به آناء الليل وآناء النهار. So I used to pray and abide by the teachings of the Quran all day and all night. فيقول له كذبت, you have lied. وتقول له الملائكة كذبت. And the angels will also repeat what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, you lie. بل أردت أن يقال فلان قارئ فقد قيل ذلك. He says, rather, all you wanted was to be called a Quran reciter. Right? You just wanted to be that person with, you know, you just wanted to have your image on YouTube and everybody knows about you. You just wanted to just showbiz. You were just showing off. You wanted to be known as the Quran reciter. وقد قيل ذلك. That's already been said. You already got the fame. اذهب فليس لك اليوم عندنا شيء. Go, because you have nothing with us today. ثم يؤتى بصاحب المال. And then the person with lots of money will be brought. فيقول له عبدي ألم أنعم عليك. You say, my slave, did I not give you a lot? ألم أفضل عليك. Did I not prefer you? Or أفضل عليك عفوا. ألم أفضل عليك. Did I not prefer you to others? ألم أوسع عليك. Did I not give you lots of money? أو نحوه, or the likes. فيقول بلى يا ربي. He says, of course you did, oh Allah. فيقول ماذا عملت فيما آتيتك. Not أتيتك. آتيتك. And then it will be said, what did you do with that which I gave you? فيقول يا ربي كنت أصل الرحمة وأتصدق وأفعل. So I used to keep family ties, I used to spend in charity, I used to do this, I used to do that. فيقول الله كذبت, you lie. وتقول الملائكة كذبت. And the angels will also say, you lie. بل أردت أن يقال فلان جواد فقد قيل ذلك. All you were interested in was to be known as a generous person, and that has already been said. اذهب فليس لك عندنا اليوم شيء. Go, because you have nothing with us today. ويدعى المقتول فيقول الله له عبدي فيما قتلت. And then a person who was murdered or killed will be brought, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say to him, my slave, why did you die? How did you die? فيقول يا ربي فيك وفي سبيلك. I died for your sake, O Allah, and in your way. I died in jihad. فيقول الله تعالى كذبت وتقول له الملائكة كذبت. And Allah will say, you lie, and the angels say, you lie. بل أردت أن يقال هو جريء. Rather, you wanted to be known as a hero, that you were courageous. فقد قيل ذلك. It's already been said. اذهب فليس لك اليوم عندنا شيء. Go. You have nothing with us today. قال أبو هريرة ثم ضرب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يده على ركبتي, or على ركبتي or على ركبتي. Right? It's not clear from here. It says, then the Prophet ﷺ hit my knee, put his hand on the knee. قال يا أبا هريرة. He said, oh Abu Hurairah, أولئك الثلاثة أول من خلق أول خلق الله تسعر بها النار يوم القيامة. He says, oh Abu Hurairah, these three, they are the first of Allah's creation, for which the fire of hell will be made to burn up hot on Judgment Day. Right? So the point is, these people are what? These people are righteous people outwardly, right? They are the mujahid, the politician who helped so many people, help the Muslims out, the imam of the masjid, the sheikh, the this, the that, the person who's funding everything. A million what? There's no ikhlas, right? So it's a problem, right?
Sheikh, can I ask a question?
Bismillah, go ahead, Sham. Yeah.
I think I've asked you this before. It's been a while, but Can you explain why it is disliked to use the term munafiq to describe people like this? Or why the term munafiq should not be used at all
So,
because it's
so
so specific?
yeah, so munafiq, it means two things. It does mean two things. So munafiq means a kafir who is faking Islam, right? But the Prophet ﷺ, he used it. He said, he had a munafiq is this, this, and this. And whoever has one of these things has a part of nifaq in him, has a part of hypocrisy. Yeah, so it's just basically because it is a term and it's not just a it's not just so when you say munafiq, he's a munafiq, you're labeling that person as a non-Muslim. That's what you mean. Like a munafiq he's a non-Muslim who's pretending to be a Muslim, right? So we should be a bit careful of saying these things, right? And then here's something. Does that make sense, Sham?
Yes.
Okay, here's something else. Should I label somebody else as insincere?
No, because we have to just work on ourselves.
Exactly. So you're in Taraweeh and you're like, um, the Imam just like that's kind of fake tears, That doesn't sound right. Like he's probably just doing this for showbiz. It's like, Habibi, what's your problem? Do you know? You know what's in his heart? Do you know what it sounds like when other people cry? Maybe they, you know. So there's also the Prophet ﷺ said, cry, and if you can't cry, make yourself cry. So maybe he's making himself cry, and it sounds fake, but it's not fake in that he's showing off. It's fake in that he's trying. He's like, yeah, Allah, I feel really bad that I'm standing before you, right? And so like, yeah, there's times you can kind of get a sense somebody's showing off, but how do you know? Oh, she's such a show off, right? You go to someone's house and she's like, oh yeah, forgive me, I just kept it simple for iftar, and she's like 20,000 dishes. She's like, oh, she is such a show off. How do you know she's a show off? You know? So like, stop judging people. Right? Focus, look at yourself. That's all. Right? How did you know that even if they showed off, the Imam just showed off in his recital? How do you know that he didn't make the deepest tawbah possible right now in sujood right now? How do you know? So like, people going around judging people are fools, right? Like, you know, you can, you can. What you could do for yourself is like, I actually don't want to study with that person because I kind of think they're fake. That's something else. Like, I'm not judging that person, but I personally don't really want to study with, like, let's say, for example, the sheikh, he seems super fake. And it's like, his tajweed is good. You're like, I actually don't want my son studying with him because he just seems super fake. He seems like a show off, you know? As opposed to, yeah, I think he is a show off. I genuinely judge him as a show off. That's wrong, right? Does that make sense? Like, so you can judge people for your own practical decisions. Like, I'm not judging you in terms of reality, but in terms of my choice, I don't want to study with that person. I don't want my kids to study with that person because that guy seems fake or she seems like fake, whatever. But to actually say, yeah, that lady's fake, she's a show off, he's a show off, that's not good, right? Allah. So anyway, it tells us that it's not a joke, right? May Allah protect us. So you have to be very, very careful with generosity, with anything, with the showbiz of being a sheikh, the showbiz of knowing something more than somebody else, the showbiz of this, being brave. We need brave people, but we don't need people who are not going to be sincere. We need shuyukh, but we don't need people who are not going to be sincere. We need, what's it called? We need hufad, but we don't need people who are not going to be sincere, you know? So all of these people need to be reminded again and again and again. And, may Allah forgive us all. Yeah, to be very careful with our words, yeah. Ya Rab. So قال حيوة أو أبو عثمان فأخبرني على علاء بن حكيم وكان سيافا لمعاوية أنه دخل عليه رجل يعني على معاوية فحدثه بهذا الحديث عن أبي هريرة. قال الوليد فأخبرني عقبة أن شفيا هو الذي دخل على معاوية فحدثه هذا الحديث فبكى معاوية فاشتد بكاؤه ثم أفاق وهو يقول صدق الله ورسوله. So basically the rest of the hadith is that somebody quoted this hadith to Sayyidina Muawiyah. Right, Sayyidina Muawiyah. Somebody quoted the hadith to Sayyidina Muawiyah and he started crying, and like really crying. And then he was saying Allah and His Messenger spoke truth. Right? So and then he quoted a verse of the Quran that echoes this idea. And it says, وَمَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا وَزِينَتَهَا نُوَفِّي إِلَيْهِمْ أَعْمَالَهُمْ فِيهَا وَهُمْ فِيهَا لَا يُبْخَسُونَ. Right? Whoever wants the dunya through your Quran recital, the dunya through being the big sheikh, the dunya from these things, right? So if you want the hayat ad-dunya, wazinataha, and its all and its beauty, nuwaffi ilayhim a'malahum fiha. We will give you all the reward for your good deeds in it. وهم فيها لا يبخسون. Not going to cut you or anything. أولئك الذين ليس لهم في الآخرة إلا النار. All they have in the akhirah is hellfire. وحبط ما صنعوا فيها, and everything they did because they had no good intention came to nothing. وبطل ما كانوا يعملون, and not وبطل ما كانوا يعملون, and everything that they did and continue to do is nothing. Right? So this is the default, ladies and gentlemen, is that we don't have ikhlas. Right? How is it the default? It's because you're not trained to have ikhlas. You're trained to please other people. Good job, you got 10 out of 10, you were told when you were 5. Right? You're told to pray. Like I do this with my kids. I said, pray, but don't pray for mommy and daddy. So my son's like straight with me, like, well, I won't pray then, would I? Like, I'm praying because you're telling me to do it. Right? I'm praying because you're telling me to do it. If you didn't tell me to do it, I wouldn't do it. So that's how we're trained, right? That's how we function, right? So we are emotionally like to impress other people. So then you reach puberty and suddenly the game has changed and it's like it's not to impress other people. It's just for Allah, but that's quite difficult. Right? It's quite difficult. So may Allah protect us. And then showbiz creeps in here and there, right? I shared you all the story of the khutbah. I've shared that story with you guys, right? That I didn't want to give the khutbah and then somebody else give the khutbah. Yes, no?
I haven't heard of this story.
Okay, so anyway, I was in Brentwood, okay, in Brentwood in California, and my job was I was the dean of Islamic studies for the school. So there's the masjid and there's Islamic school. I was involved in the school, not involved in the masjid really. The masjid would ask me now and then, please do a khutbah, please give a class. I'm like, no. Because I don't want to teach. I'm the whole day I'm teaching baby stuff, right? The whole day I'm teaching baby stuff. I don't want to come and do more baby stuff in the masjid, right? So I wanted to do Elmay things, so I'm going to use my time to teach like more academic things online. And then like I don't like showbiz. I don't like my job from the age of 19 was not doing showbiz. It was doing like teaching, right? Teaching is very different. So anyway, they kept asking me, da 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 da. So one day they're like, okay, Fareed, please. And they're like, okay, sure. And whatever, give me on next week, I'll do the khutbah. So in my head, and this is what I'm trying to share with you, in my head, I don't like giving khutbahs. If you told me you're not going to give the khutbah, I'd be very happy because I don't want to give the khutbah. In my head, I'm not interested in having a crowd of 300 people looking at me. Like, I don't like it. I would rather my nafs, as far as I know, as far as I know myself, my nafs would prefer to be sitting down doing something academic. I like to read things about hadith, technical things about hadith, technical things about grammar, technical things about fiqh. That's what my nafs likes. Or so I thought. So as far as I understood myself, I don't like showbiz. It's not something that I like, and that's evinced by the fact that I kept telling them no, I don't want to do it, right? So I'm not seeking it, and as far as I know, I don't like it. Anyway, 2 days before my khutbah, they're like, "Oh, Sheikh Fareed, you don't need to do the khutbah because Sheikh so and so is coming instead." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I was a bit sad. And I was like, Sheikh Fareed, why are you sad? Sit with your emotions, right? Talk to yourself. Why are you sad? If, as you say, or as you think about yourself, if you don't like giving the khutbah, and you've just been told that you're not going to give the khutbah, why are you sad? If you don't like showbiz, you don't like talking to people, you don't like to have the microphone, you don't want 300 people focused on you, then why are you sad when A, you don't have to give the khutbah, and B, somebody who's going to be more benefit, right? The sheikh is coming as more, more benefit. Why are you sad? You're sad, Sheikh Farid, with all due respect, because you have a taste for showbiz. The limelight has got you. That's what it is. So why am I sharing this? Is because sometimes you can't even see it. You can't even see it, right? Why is it that when somebody else took the limelight away from me that I was sad? It's because the taste is there, right? That's what it is. Okay, so this is very important, very important. And subhanAllah, the teachers at the school, so I was doing teacher training. I was like, all teachers are show off, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" So I said, so you're teaching grade 3. It's like what you think I'm trying to get the attention of grade 3. So yeah, you are. So there's the ikhlas, which is I want to benefit these kids, but also you get an attachment and you like the fact that they like you. You like the fact that they laugh at your jokes. They like the fact that you're their world, right? You're the grade 3 teacher and they're your world, and you do the activities with them and they like you and they go home and talk to their mums and dads about you. So you actually like this showbiz. You're actually a show off, right? And so that's scary, right? So it's these we have to do a lot of introspection. You have to do a lot of finding out what's going on, and you have to make a lot of dua. You don't know what's going on, right? There's a lot of mess inside, and it gets messy, right? Is there anything in the world who is not affected by showbiz? I thought I wasn't. That's the point, Abdullah, right? That's because yeah, like there's some people who are like, yeah, that's just not my thing. Like I don't like doing it. Like I really don't like doing it. But then it's like, I'm currently a little sad because I'm not known for anything particular in the community. I help out in every ways, but there's nothing that's mine. Well, that's good, isn't it? Right? So, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Shafi'i, the Imam Nawawi said that, like Imam Nawawi said, made dua like, oh Allah, like make my knowledge not ascribed to me, so people don't talk about me, you know. So that's this. These are these things that we have to work on. So at least on the outward, we can do that, right? Before you're about to do something, you say, Ya Allah, please protect me, right? And then what you find as well is it will be in specific things. So, for example, who are you more likely to show off to? Are you going to show off about your religiosity in front of non-Muslims who don't care? Or are you going to show off about your religiosity to other Muslims? To no one, inshallah, right? But what is more likely going to happen? To Muslims. Okay. So if it's Muslims, is it going to be irreligious Muslims or religious Muslims? Religious Muslims, because they value what you have. Is it going to be the same sex or the opposite sex? The opposite sex. So you will find basically in every situation, there are certain people, right? There are certain people that even if you're married, Aman, even if you're married, because your nafs is not logical. Your nafs is not logical. Your nafs, it doesn't think like that, right? So basically, you are programmed to get the approval of certain people. And it'll be in different things. Let's say, for example, in Sham's world, right? He's talking in an academic world. There's certain people where he might, his nafs will be like, yeah, I'm going to share this thing with these kind of people in this kind of way, right? Because they value that, right? A skateboarder, I'm not really a skateboarder, but talking to a BMXer, he doesn't really care. He doesn't even understand what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? But like somebody in your same thing, somebody who's into the people that your peers, right? The people who have the shared values and that could actually be impressed by that. You know what I'm saying? And so what will happen then is you will now pinpoint certain settings, people, and certain things. Like this is going to happen here, right? It's going to happen here with these kind of people. The last time you tasted it, it was around these group people on this kind of thing. So you have an actual like is as opposed to sincerity in general, you now know specific cases where you were demonstrated a lack of sincerity and genuine ri'ah, and why did you do it and how did you do it, right? It was Ramadan, okay, and your husband's in-laws were coming. Well, your in-laws are coming. Your husband's family is coming. So is it am I trying to impress or I'm trying to respect? They're two different things. So I'm vacuum cleaning. Are you vacuum cleaning because it's not very nice to go to someone's house and there's stuff all over the floor? And yeah, that's out of respect. Are you doing this out of reverence for your husband? Like, or are you doing this because it would be embarrassing? And when you say embarrassing, do you mean like I don't want to embarrass myself, or or does it mean I'm trying to impress somebody? Can you see that difference? Right? So there's embarrassing, like it would be awkward to like pass wind in front of somebody. Like that would be embarrassing, right? So you don't want that embarrassment. That's a bit weird, right? As opposed to I'm trying to prove to somebody, my husband's sister, that I am like this, or I can cook like this, or I can do like this, whatever it is, you know? So the default is everyone's a total fake and everyone's showing off to everybody. That's how the world works, right? That's what everybody does, right? Everybody like shows off what they have, right? That's the default. And it becomes ridiculous or it's like controlled, right? There's a controlled amount of showing off, but basically everybody does that. And so for us, it's like, yeah, we can't do that. You show off to Allah. That's what I'm showing myself off to Allah, right? And so it's big. It's a big issue, you know. And generally speaking, the opposite sex. So you have iftar, right? She's double checking the meat. Why did you double check the meat? Why? I don't know. It's like you just double check the meat. It's like, yeah, but now you go inside your thoughts and inside the thoughts of those thoughts, and like, yeah, I know why. So again, the nafs is not logical. The nafs is not logical, right? It doesn't work in a logical way. It's like, oh, she double checked the meat because she wants to impress her brother-in-law because she wants to sleep with him. That's not how it works. It doesn't work like that. That's not the literal thing. You're just like you're just programmed to do that. You're just programmed to get the attention as a woman of all men, and for men of all women. And so if they're religious or if they're worldly, it's going to be in golf. Yeah, I know about golf. I know about this. If it's about money, if it's about this, about kids, you're at work talking to some lady about your kids and like, yeah, I woke up last night. I'm so tired. I woke up last night 3 times for my baby. I said, oh, that's so nice, right? It's like, oh, you wake up for the baby and da 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 da. Like you're like a good husband, right? Why did you share that with her, right? There's a reason, right? And so again, initially you have no clue that you're a total hypocrite and you're just a big mess. But bit by bit, you start digging. How do you start digging? By abiding by the Sharia. Hang on a minute. I shouldn't speak like that to a woman anyway. Hang on a minute. I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do that. You start digging, 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 and then as you dig, more things come out. And it's very important because do you want to be that person on Judgment Day who was the Hafiz, who was the Mufti, who was the person who funded all of these orphanages, who was the hero, the mother who sacrificed herself, right? But it was all fake. It was all fake. You were doing it for this, for that, you know? We have to be very, very careful, and you have to stop yourself and say, what are you doing? Right? And avoid and hide things as much as possible, right? Embarrass yourself a little bit if you can, right? Burn the food a little bit. Like, your nafs really wants to be seen as the person who presents a nice house. Leave a cushion on the floor. So when they come in, they're like, oh, the cushion's on the floor, you know? If you're a good mother, yeah, say my son didn't wash his teeth for the last 2 days. They're like, oh my God, you're weird. Yeah, yeah. Just throw that in, you know? I used to do that among like طلاب ilm. Ask a dumb question so you seem like you don't know anything, right? Right. So because and then you realize what's going on, right? So this is a genuine thing, a real thing. People show off to other people, right? That's a very real thing. So somebody who doesn't realize it, like you're kind of crazy, right? And then the key thing that I was trying to share is I didn't actually know myself. I didn't actually know myself. That's a key concept, right? Ask your spouse, right? Sham, like sit down with your wife. Do you ask your question, do I know myself? She's like, yeah, you know 80% of yourself, but there's other things that I can tell you about that you don't know about yourself. And you could do the same thing with her, right? Because you don't. There's things that like, you know, like I don't have an angry issue. I think like, boy, oh boy, this guy doesn't know what you're talking about, you know. I'm not argumentative. Like, oh my God, yes, you are. You're super argumentative, right? I'm not this, I'm not that, right? So the key thing is you are not aware of certain things about yourself. And then on Judgment Day, boom, right? That's what they said. I prayed for Allah. I gave charity for Allah. I did this for the sake of Allah. No, you didn't, right? You didn't do it for the sake of Allah. It was all fake. One brother, he's telling me this. He said he's talking about a particular race of people. He says this race of people, they have a trait, a common trait. Whenever they're around women, they have to raise their voice because it's a thing that you do. Like if I'm around women, I have to sound loud, like I'm making my point, and I'm I'm heard. And like, and if I'm quietly making my point around women, then I'm seen as somebody who's weak. Like I need to sound strong around other women. So they'll always do that. If there are women there, the argument will become very escalated because they always want to show that they're shouting, right? Make sure that I was known to be tough, right? This is the reality of people, right? Reality of people, right? And so again, there's a difference between avoiding embarrassment, right? So let's think about makeup, okay? Makeup. So there's makeup which is I don't actually like the way that I look, and I don't want to be seen like this. So therefore, I put makeup on. Yes, I may be seen by men and women, but I'm not actually showing off. You know what I'm saying? So there's makeup which is like I'm doing that to show off. Or actually I'm doing that to avoid what I perceive as an embarrassment. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like to be seen like that. So that's not showing off. It could be just haram because some men might see you as a woman, right? But it's not showing off, you know? So there's women who dress inappropriately to show off, and there's women who dress inappropriately because they're trying to avoid what they perceive as embarrassing. Like it's awkward. I don't look nice like this. You know, wearing a hijab would look weird. I don't want to look weird in front of people. I'm not trying to show off my hair to people. It's just it would look weird. So that's one thing, right? So, oh, you're trying to show off. No, it's just embarrassing, right? I want to avoid embarrassment. But avoiding embarrassment, there's a line, a very thin line between avoiding embarrassment and trying to show off, right? I don't want other people like I don't want other people to find out that I don't know that ayah and I'm leading the prayer. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, what does that mean then? It means you're showing off, right? So what's wrong with people finding out that you don't know that ayah? It's not embarrassing that you're actually showing off. Does that make sense? or I don't want people to find out that this person asked me for money and I didn't give it. Okay, why don't you want people to find that out? Oh, because it's embarrassing. You mean you want people to think that you're generous. That's what it is. So that, can you see the difference? I don't want to hear people, I don't want to be heard going to the bathroom. Like, it's weird that I'm going to the bathroom and somebody right outside the door. That's embarrassing, right? I don't want to I don't know, like myself, I will wear a hat in the street, right? So like I see somebody in the street and I don't have my hat on, so that feels a bit embarrassing. It's a bit weird. But that's not the same as, oh my God, I need to be seen as religious. Can you see the difference?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So may Allah protect us all. But again, you will continually persist in sins or have these mixed things until you, if you don't fight internally. There has to be a fight inside. If there's no fight inside, you're not going to change. That's for sure. It doesn't just happen like that. Okay, أخبرنا بكار بن عبد الله قال سمعت وهب المنبه. وهب المنبه is one of the tabi'een. A lot of his sources are Jewish or Christian. Okay, Wahb al-Munabbih. A lot of these things are like, oh, this is in the Torah, or this is in some version of the Torah that we don't have, or some Jewish or Christian sources that we don't have today, right? So Wahb al-Munabbih tabi. He's saying, يقول قال الله تعالى فيما يعيب به أحبار بني إسرائيل. So Allah Most High said in concerning the fault that he saw in the rabbis, right? So this is presumably Jewish or Christian, and perhaps in the Bible, who knows? So how things that he blamed the rabbis of the children of Israel for, saying تفقهوا تفقهون لغير الدين. You learn fiqh, but not for the sake of Allah, right? It's just law, right? Just legal system, or it's nice to be able to know things or to be able to work things out. تعلمون أي تتعلمون لغير عمل. You learn with no intention of applying. You learn because it's cool, it's interesting, right? But you don't learn in order to apply. تبتاعون الدنيا بعمل الآخرة. You buy the dunya with the deeds of the next life, right? And subhanAllah, this happens. There was a brother, he told me, he said, I said, why don't you get so-and-so to help us do the fundraising in Ramadan? He says, you know what this guy did? He says, I want a minimum of 10K for that night, Laylatul Qadr fundraising, or 10% of what you 10% of what you bring in. So imagine, for example, you're in the Bay Area, okay? You're in San Jose, okay? On Laylatul Qadr. I don't know how much they bring in donations. Probably 10 million. Is that possible on Laylatul Qadr? Something like that, right?
For a large masjid, sure.
Yeah. So like, something like what's it called? That huge what's it called? MCA, right? Something like
MCA in San Jose, sure.
yeah. Okay. So now you want 10% of 10 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, mashallah, you flew from Houston. Okay, not a problem. You prepared for a week, not a problem. You've done training in this. You spent 2 weeks training. You did all sorts of things. You're a professional, not a problem. But you're coming to the masjid and you're going to say, I want minimum 10K, okay, to do this, or uh, 10% of the fund of what you raised, right? That's insane. You're asking for $1 million to do a 3-hour fundraiser. Like, I understand my job is deen. I understand 100%, right? Like, if you ask me now, you say, Fareed, I want you to leave Malaysia, fly to the States, right? Come and give a talk on Laylatul Qadr. Okay, I'm gonna this. I have to do my calculations. It's gonna come up to money. I'm gonna ask for money. This is my job, right? Yes, it was a 3-hour talk, but I'm flying from Malaysia, for crying out loud. Flying from Malaysia, got to fly back to Malaysia, leave my family. I'm not gonna leave my family for nothing. I'm not gonna do that, right? and this is my job, and I'm going to come back, and I'm probably have to have time off. So like, okay, I'm going to ask for money. Not a problem, Habibi, ask for money. But you're asking for approximately $1 million for a 3-hour fundraising event. You know what I'm saying? So tabta'un, and these things you hear. The people are like that. I remember receiving a YouTube ad, right? About basically how to make more money on stage as a priest. So these priests, they do that. They literally do this, like how to get more money, and that it's a job, right? But it's not just a job. It's like they make serious money. Some of these preachers, they make serious money, right? And presumably this, for some reason, they don't see a problem in that, right? So there's a big difference in, hey, I don't have a state funding me. I don't have, you know, and I need to make money. Let's say leading Taraweeh. Like I'm gonna fly to your country. I'm gonna lead Taraweeh, right? I'm not asking you to pay me to pray. That would be a bit weird. But like I'm giving up my time for you, right? I'm giving up my time for you, and I'm gonna come and do this thing. And I'm coming to your masjid or not anybody else's masjid, right? It makes sense. But it gets a bit ridiculous, right? It gets ridiculous, right? So تبتاعون الدنيا بعمل الآخرة. You are buying the dunya at the price of deeds of the akhirah. That's not right. It's not right. Right? And does it make sense? Yeah, so it's super messed up, right? So you should say,
It
listen,
makes
I'm
it
flying.
makes sense, but I'm just so disappointed at
Yeah,
I'm just disappointed, Chair. That's all.
yeah, alhamdulillah. But what did Sufyan al-Thawri? So forget 21st century. Sufyan al-Thawri, in the time of the golden age of, he said, I've never seen any group of people who have more hatred and more envy and more ill will than the scholars. Never seen it. Like no Islamic scholars. Like I've never seen any group of people that have like more ill will and more hatred than religious scholars. Right? Showbiz. 100% showbiz. People would fabricate hadiths for that. I have a hadith that nobody else has. Right? Ibn Hajar al-Haytami, he wrote an essay on menstruation. The fiqh of menstruation is very complex. Somebody stole it. They plagiarized it. Right? It's like, because it's really it's tough, right? It is alleged that when Imam Shafi came to Egypt, he became so famous, and he was so significant there that he was actually murdered, basically out of jealousy. So you're taking someone else's religious roles, and people are going to listen to you instead of other people. So yeah, he actually killed him. Allahu A'lam. So there's nothing new under the sun, right? One sheikh in the Bay Area, I heard this. He came up to me. This same sheikh in the Bay Area, he had told one sheikh, he said, one day you watch, I'll have more followers than you. I was like, what is this? This is like what does that even mean? You watch, one day I'll have more followers than you. Like what this is this a game that we want followers? What are you talking about? That same sheikh came up to me, he said, Fareed, I want this job, right? So I'm the Dean of Islamic Studies, right? And then he told me, he said, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. And I was like, bro, like, where are we? Where are we? You can do this the easy way or the hard way? I can imagine that happening. Yeah, in academia, maybe, right? Somebody speaks to Sham and says, hey, we can do this the easy way, the hard way. I can imagine it in academia. Yeah, it's not the prettiest of worlds. It should be moral, right? But it's not the prettiest of world. I can imagine this in corporate America. I can imagine this in all sorts of scenarios. But in a masjid, I'm in a masjid, and you come up to me and you say, Fareed, I spoke to you about getting this job in the school, and we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Wow, wow, right? But this is how people are. It's how people are. Allah musta'an. Exactly. And that's the norm, ladies and gentlemen. That is the norm. That is not the the fuqaha they you can see this in the biographies. They say so and so he wouldn't let a ghiba happen in his majlis. Wow, because the default is the ulama make ghiba of each other all the time. So they do. That's the default. And they do it because the shaitan says, no, this is a guidance. You're guiding people, You're guiding people because that person's a very bad person. So the shaitan says he's a bad person, meaning he basically legitimizes the jealousy, and then it's you're guiding people. And whenever he makes a mistake, it's like, yeah, I need to guide people. Yeah. Very normal. Very, very normal. Super normal. So ikhlas, very rare. Very rare. Like people who are genuinely, these people are straight, very rare. It's not the default at all. No way. Right? Extremely rare thing to find. Right? And subhanAllah, the dreams, Allahu A'lam. I had this dream once, and I was with one of my teachers who was a big faqih, and he was talking to somebody who was younger than him. This person was like 14. And in dreams, there's a kind of context, right? Like it's you have this, like you kind of know what's going on, even though nobody's saying anything. So the context was like, here's one of my teachers who's like a faqih scholar, and then this other kid was 14, and he was even more knowledgeable. He's just 14, right? And it's the idea that, and they're like really happy about like their knowledge or whatever. And then it clicked to me like neither had ikhlas. And it was I took away from the dream that basically like it's very easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give ilm al-zahir, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can just make very intelligent people who can get fiqh like this, usul like this, Arabic like this. They're just really good at hadith. But it's extremely rare that you have people with ikhlas. Ikhlas is something not normal. Sincerity, like I'm here for the sake of Allah. I don't care about anything else.
لكن الشيخ كيف تفهمين هذا للأخرى يعني بالكلمات البسيطة؟ How do you make them understand this? I don't, to lay people,
How do you make other people? How do you make who understand it?
other people يعني العادي يعني في كثير ناس لأنهم يرون هكذا من العلماء صح؟ يعني they saw هم علماء الكريم المفتي وهكذا but حتى ولو يقتلون أنفسهم في المسجد فخلاص لما اتبع الدين اوكي I'm not going to follow the
Okay,
دين
I
خلاص
understand.
يلا
I understand.
تركت الدين لأن بهذا النفاق وبهذا الشيء وهذا فكيف أفهمهم يعني
Okay, good
في
question.
بعض العلماء كمان فتن أي
Good. So Maryam asked a question, right? Sister Maryam asked a question. She's like, how do you how do you help people? This is a huge fitna, right? So when you see when you see the fuqaha and the ulama, they have no akhlaq, right? When they have no akhlaq, um, why should and they don't follow the deen, why should I follow the deen? Well, that's a good question. So do you follow the deen because of other people, or do you follow the deen because Allah told you to? Right? So this is now this is the problem with the Middle East, right? If you go to a place like Middle East, like, oh, I'm Muslim. Okay, why are you Muslim? Shan jiddi, shan immi, shan kada, right? Everybody else is like that, right? So I'm doing, right? And so the Prophet said, don't be that person. Don't be imma'a, right? Imma'a is the what? The people who just do what everybody else does. So what you do is you take from the ulama what they're teaching you, and that's it. So this sheikh is not praying the masjid. So sheikh, am I supposed to pray in the masjid? Yeah. The sheikh, he's doing all sorts of things he shouldn't do. Right? Take the good and leave the bad, and that's it. And you don't do things because your sheikh did that. You don't do good because other people are doing good. You don't do or bad because other people are doing bad. You are not a sheep. You are Abdullah. And if the whole universe left Islam, what are you going to do? They've bombed the Kaaba, and everybody's done shirk. What are you going to do? Leave the deen? So that's the problem. The mentality is off. So that's from the shaitan, is that your deen in reality is taqleed. You're just doing what everybody else does, which that's totally wrong. You should be. That's why, subhanAllah, Sister Maryam, sometimes you'll find people in the West have stronger deen because that's how they function. They function by being the black sheep. Like, that's just how you've always done things, right? I'm in an Arab country. Oh, it's difficult to ask if it's halal or haram. Just do what everybody else does. It's like, it's not like that. If you grow up in England, it's like there's no halal food. You're the only person praying. You're the only person doing what is right, aslan, right? So it's just normal. That's just you're just ummah wahida, right? You're just a one nation by yourself. Does that make sense? So that's a whole problem.
Subhanallah.
That's a whole problem, right? And even
Allah
subhanAllah,
يثبتنا يا رب.
many people fall into that mistake. One of my teachers at university, she was like that. She was dressed very inappropriately all the time. And she pulled me to the side. She said, by the way, Fareed, religion's made up. It's all made up, right? And she said, I used to be Ghabi like you, Fareed. Like I used to be like, religious, stuff like that. But then you see the shuyukh, you see what they do, and like forget about it. So that's a huge mistake. What's the opposite of that? Sayyidina Salman al-Farisi, right? He saw fake Christians, right? But he didn't change. He became Christian, and then he saw fake Christians that they were cheating the system, but he still knew the truth through them. So you can have shuyukh like me, inshallah, who will be like, Sheikh Fareed isn't doing it, but at least I understand what he's saying. Do you understand? Like, I
Like,
understand the Sheikh isn't mazboot, he's not right, but I understand what he's teaching me, and you take the message, right? And I don't know if anybody speaks Farsi, but like Sheikh, Sheikh Jalaluddin Rumi said that. He said, "Don't look at me, but take what's in my hand." Right? So we don't, every single one of my teachers, there's something that they've done, and I'm like, yeah, I don't take that. Every single one of them. Right? And some of them way worse than the others. One sheikh, for example, I was told don't visit him. And I was like, no, I'm going to visit him. They said, no, don't visit him. So I went and visited. It was really bad. It was a really bad. It's like you just take his books and khalas, leave his akhlaq. There's other shuyukh, for example, someone who's gone on Hajj with that sheikh. They're like, oh my God, that sheikh has really bad akhlaq. He's really not a good person. May Allah forgive him. But he's super authority. When it comes to fatwa, fantastic. When it comes to understanding the details that nobody else understands, fantastic. Right? May Allah protect us all. So anyway, it says تَتَعَلَّمُونَ أي تَتَعَلَّمُونَ لِغَيْرِ الْعَمَلِ. You learn with no intention of practicing. And you do the works of the dunya. You buy the akhirah. You buy the dunya with the works of the akhirah. تَلْبَسُونَ لِلنَّاسِ جُلُودَ الضَّعْنِ وَتُخْفُونَ أَنفُسَكُمْ أنفس الذئاب, right? You are, the phrase in English, you are wolves in sheep's clothing. وتنفوا أي تنفون القذى من شرابكم وتبتلعون أمثال الجبال من الحرام, right? There's a tiny dust on your drink, so you blow it away, and at the same time you're swallowing mountains of haram, right? Mountains of haram, right? Worse than this, Sister Maryam, worse than this is the pedophile Quran teacher, right? Like that's a
yes, Ya Allah, that was a trauma to a whole world.
right?
Astaghfirullah.
And that happens all the time, Sister Maryam.
دائما كل يوم.
And that happened, and then for the Christian world, the same thing. My dad, same thing. My dad was at school. His choir teacher, he was fired for that. Same thing. It's very normal. And did you know one of the words of ustadh in translation of ustadh in Arabic is what? Is al-khasi, is a eunuch, somebody whose things have been cut off. So in the past, they knew that if you have men around even young boys, that's not safe. So that's in the past. It's not something new. In the past, they used to get, they're like, oh, here's this man, he's alone with all these young boys. Maybe he's not married. Maybe he's messed up. I don't know. We're going to have somebody who is asexual because we can't trust people. Right? So this is nothing new. It's nothing new. It's always been there. Always been there. So, but again, it's
and how do you deal with that issue?
But again, Sister Maryam, this is again how we look at shuyukh, right?
نعم.
So I'll give you an example, Sister Maryam, okay? So how do we look at shuyukh? We think shuyukh are malaika, right? Shuyukh are like angels, right? Wrong. That's a mistake. So here's a situation. Okay, this happened with me. I remember like a long time ago. So there's this guy. I'm gonna pause the recording.